Hi everyone, welcome to my video blog. I'm Peter Anthony Fields, and today we're going to talk about writing a stage play. I'm actually writing a stage play now. It's a murder mystery, and so it's a new challenge for me. I've always enjoyed murder mysteries. I always wanted to be a part of one or write one or whatever, but I never got around to it. So now I've finally gotten around to doing one of my dreams, which is to do a murder mystery, to write a murder mystery play. And I had to develop it for a while in my mind, thinking about it over a period of many months, probably a couple of years of stewing it around and seeing if I really wanted to do it, if I felt I could do it, and what would the plot be. Which is critical in a murder mystery, is the subject of the mystery, how the antagonists got to where they have and accomplished what they have and gotten away with what they have, and how does the protagonist solve that mystery. So first I came up with an idea of what the ending would be. How it all finishes up. Actually, before that, I thought of what is the subject of the mystery, and I did a lot of thinking on it, and I came up with a purpose for the antagonist to do the deed of murdering this person, and why. So I came up with the why and how it ultimately ends. And then I backtracked. So I did a lot of thinking about what the antagonist, what their life was like, what was the inciting factor that pushed them over the edge to become the person that they are in the story that we are witnessing. So I came up with the character. I came up with what the harm that was done to that character, what wound does that character have. I came up with that, and so I had the character's wound, and then I created what the ultimate outcome is for the story, the ending basically. And then I backtracked through the character's life and began to build little parts and pieces about how that character became that person that we see in the play. And then I created the protagonist, the one who solves the mystery, and I had to figure out what is this person's profession, what do they do, what makes them good at what they do, what makes them qualified to be the person to solve the mystery. And so I came up with a profession for the protagonist, and also the different quirks of that character. What makes them a person, a real person? What are their unfavorable sides of their personality? What are the favorable sides of their personality? It's important that you make them likable, and it's also important that you make the antagonist likable, and the murder victim. You have to make that person likable as well, in order to get the audience to be engaged in the telling of the story. So I came up with, after I came up with the protagonist and the antagonist and what wound that person has suffered that leads them to murder, I came up with a list of other characters to be peppered into the story, a list of suspects. And they have to be colorful, interesting, funny, likable, so that way you are hoping, oh, I hope that person doesn't get it, or you're saying, I hope that one gets it. And so you've got an emotional involvement in the story with the audience. And so from there, I began to write certain scenes that were going around and around in my head, not in chronological order, just as they popped into my head. I would write a scene and say, okay, this is what's going to happen in this scene, and this is what I would like to see. This is what's been going on in my mind over and over again that I just have to get out. And so I wrote those scenes. It didn't matter if they were in order or not. It didn't matter if they made complete sense or not. The important thing was that I got them written on paper or on screen, and then I could begin to lay them out and assess where I think they will fall in the story. And then I began to write I had to be sure that I knew the ending of the play. And then I would think about the beginning. How does it begin? Your stories, whatever stories you write, should always hook the reader or the audience. That's what you want to do. You don't want to bore them and make them think, why am I here? Why are they talking about this? This is not going anywhere. Then you lose your audience, especially in this modern age where most of the entertainment is coming through your home. And so there's distractions everywhere. There's an opportunity to always click, to come off of that and go to something else. So you want to make sure that you capture the audience's attention. It's a little less favorable for a person to get up in a theater and walk out, though I'm sure some people have. But you do have that in your favor if you're writing for live theater. But still, that production may ultimately be shown on video, and the audience will be watching it through video as well. So I had to come up with an interesting beginning, and this was a very, to use the word again, interesting process for me, writing the beginning of this play, which is currently called The Millstone Manor Mystery. The name is probably going to change, but that's my working title. And I came up with, I believe, about 4 different openings, 4 different first scenes. I started on one and I just laid it out, just let it flow. That's key in writing. If you want to be productive as a writer, just make sure you write something every day, at least every day. And if you miss a day, that's fine. Don't beat yourself up, but get back on it the next day and just write, let it flow. And so I just let this opening flow out and just wrote the first scene. It wasn't anywhere near perfect. It was horrible, actually. But I knew if I just let it set for a day and be satisfied that I wrote a first draft of the opening, then that's a good thing. Then the next day I come back and I look at it and I say, you know what, instead of this person doing that, they could do this. And then instead of having this person here, I could take this person out and put another character in place, or change that person's profession, or their personality. And then you start to tweak it and work it a little bit more. And then I wrote another draft of the opening, which was a bit different from the first one. Then I let that one set. The next day I came back and I wrote a little bit more in the body of the play, the second act rather. I wrote a little bit more in there and kept the beginning working in the back of my mind. Then I would go back to the beginning and rewrite it, and for a third time. And I was getting, each time I get closer and closer to what I want, what it is. You can feel what you want inside you. You know when it's right and you know when it's wrong. When you read something and it's just not ringing true to you, and it's just doesn't feel right, then it's not right. It's not true, which means it needs more work. Don't panic. That's the worst thing you can do, is to panic. Just stay calm and just let the story talk to you. See where, because you know where it has to go. Deep down, you know where it has to go. And so just let yourself explore that process and find your way, and you will find it. And when it does, you'll nail it and you know it's right. And then you say, okay, I got it. And then you go on to move on to the next scene. And so by the 4th rewrite of the opening scene, I knew I had it. I had what I wanted, but it was still needed a polish. It still needs a polish because I'm currently still writing the play. But the polish at that point isn't so very important for me to get to right away. I can do that much later. Now I progress through the rest of the story. I start on scene 2, which is where I am now. And I should mention that I'm doing this as part of the Dramatists Guild of America, their end of play event, where you commit to writing a complete draft of your play in 1 month, the month of April. And that's what I'm doing right now. And so I am moving on to the second scene, and it should connect well with the first scene. It should flow well from the first scene and not drop in interest or in mystery or suspense at all. You should always keep the questions coming for your audience: what, why, when, and how. and that will keep your audience engaged. Okay, so I'm going to stop there for this video blog, and I'm going to get to some real writing, and then I'll see you with the next video blog, where I will discuss where I've gone from with scene 2 and where I'm going for the next scene or scenes. Okay, so thank you very much for listening to this video blog. This is the revamping of my video blogs. I'm trying something new, a different approach. I hope you like it. If you do, be sure to give me a thumbs up and leave a comment if you want. If you have any questions, please leave a comment. And I will see you guys on the flip side.